Have you ever started something new, felt amazing for 2 weeks, and then suddenly you're tired, confused, and you're wondering if you should even keep going? You're not alone. And if you feel like this right now, watch this video as I'll show you what's going on and how to fix it. There is nothing wrong with you. In fact, this is quite a predictable behavior using the emotional cycle of change. If you haven't heard of it before, I'm going to break it down in this video and explain what you should be doing at every stage, and more importantly, what you should not be doing when things get unpromising. So let's get started. The first stage of the emotional cycle of change is uninformed optimism. This is the phase where you tell yourself, new year, new me, I got this, I am so excited, this plan looks fantastic, and you want to get into it. It's like the honeymoon period of a relationship. It feels great until you actually start working and you hit phase 2 pretty quickly, which is informed pessimism, where you start to realize that things are looking a lot harder than you thought, and you're starting to wonder, is it even worth doing this? Am I making the wrong choice? Phase 2 very quickly turns into phase 3, called the Valley of Despair. This is the time where most people make the mistakes that lead them to quitting whatever they started altogether. And if you keep listening, I will let you know exactly what not to do, and you can see for yourself if you've made any of these mistakes so far. This is the phase where you realize nothing is working, and you start wondering if you're delusional. But if you persevere and you take the right action, you will come to phase 4, which is informed optimism, where you start to realize what you need to do to make things happen. Your confidence starts going up. And if you continue through this phase and stay consistent, you will reach the final stage, which is called the stage of success and fulfillment, or in other words, ownership. And I say ownership because whatever you started now feels part of who you are. You identify with it and you feel confident about it. So what should you be doing in every phase so that this goes a lot smoother? In the first phase, you should start small. Yes, you have this big goal and this big plan, but the best way to achieve anything big is to break it down into smaller steps. Break it into manageable chunks. Try not to overcomplicate things and start small. When you reach phase 2, you want to simplify things. Make them more manageable, and once again, do not overcomplicate if you can. And in the Valley of Despair, your sole focus is to stabilize yourself. And what I mean by that is focusing on the bare minimum non-negotiables in your plan and lowering your emotional intensity. You want to stay consistent and persevere and keep things as simple as possible. Stage 4 is when you can refine things. Make sure not to refine things in the Death Valley, and I will explain more in just a bit what the other mistakes are, but that one is a critical one. Wait until you reach informed optimism to make refinements to your plan and to launch it to the final stage of success. And when you reach the phase of ownership, the last phase, that is when you want to start expanding. You can start implementing new ideas, new plans, new projects, but that is the perfect time to expand and start the cycle all over again. Now let's get into the part we've all been waiting for. and that is what not to do in the valley of despair. There are a few things that you will reach to first that you should avoid at all costs. And the first thing is when you start feeling this overwhelmed and in such a state of failure, you want to scrap your plan. You want to change everything, completely re-baseline. Do not do this. This is not the time for change. In fact, if you do this, it will ruin your whole progress. So resist. And instead of that, look at your existing plan, cut out everything that doesn't make sense, and stick to the bare bone, non-negotiable items. The next thing is looking for motivation. This phase, you should not feel motivated. If you feel motivated, you're not in this phase. So don't try to make something happen that shouldn't be there. All right? We're not adding new things to this to try and feel motivated. We are staying consistent. We don't need clarity. We need consistency in this phase. The next thing is consuming more content and advice. We start looking for more advice, how to fix the situation, consuming more content, and what it's doing is making us more confused. You have your plan, you have the bare bones, stick to them. And lastly, don't make identity conclusions. You want to tell yourself, oh, this is because of these factors, and this is because my personality is this way, and I am so lazy. I am not disciplined. And you start to hang all these things on yourself, which are not true. There's good and there's bad. And you just came out of the honeymoon phase and you're starting to face reality. But all of that name calling is not the truth. It is just part of this transitionary phase. And please, please don't start calling yourself that, because once you get out of it, you'll realize it is not true. So if you resist from doing these 4 items and stick to consistency and a simple plan, you will realize how quickly you will get out of this valley of despair. And you could have just snowballed to failure and quitting, thinking that this new idea was not sustainable. But in reality, it was, and you will get through this point just like everyone else. You are not alone in this. Every person goes through this when they start something new, including myself. I am doing a January reset, and today is day 10 of my vlog. And I have felt all of these emotions. I am kickstarting multiple projects on different timelines, and I am experiencing different feelings to each project following these phases. And I was so fortunate to come across this information to stay informed and understand what I should be doing. Because just the other day, even in regards to this content creation, I hit the wall of, why am I even doing this? There are such higher priority items that I could be focusing on right now. I don't think this is worth it. But instead of quitting, I just stripped it of the excess work, stuck with the bare minimum, and just in a matter of days, I kid you not, that quickly, I was able to come out of this phase and realize, oh no, I'm able to make this work. And that is happening for all of my other ones. This is the furthest cycle that I'm in, but a lot of the other ones, I'm either in the honeymoon period of uninformed optimism or entering the informed pessimism phase, where I'm realizing things are looking a lot harder and taking a lot longer than I thought. But I am going, and I recommend that you do the same. And if you would like a buddy as you're starting your new project, then follow my channel, because I'm posting daily and I will be sharing my journey, my lessons, and things that could help you out along the way.